Following his impeachment acquittal in the Senate, many Republicans like South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham say Donald Trump should remain at the center of the GOP.
If you want to win and stop a socialist agenda, we need to work with President Trump. We can't do it without him.
Graham told Fox News that the party needs to focus on the former president's accomplishments.
Donald Trump is the most vibrant member of the Republican Party. The Trump movement is alive and well. People believe that he brought change to Washington.
But Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, one of 7 Republican senators who voted for conviction, says the impeachment evidence was clear.
All of that points to a motive and a method, and that is wrong. He should be held accountable.
Cassidy told ABC News Sunday that the Republican Party is much bigger than Donald Trump.
The Republican Party is more than just one person. The Republican Party is about ideas. We need to look forward because the ideas of our party are more important now than ever, particularly in contrast to the Biden-Harris administration.
Although impeachment managers fell 10 votes short of the 2/3 vote, they say they have no regrets.
The greatest majority voting to convict a president, as well as the American people seeing truly who Donald Trump was.
Now, the former president issued a statement shortly after that acquittal, thanking his supporters and saying that his movement has only just begun. In Washington, Rashad Hudson, NewsNation.
So, Rashad, is it possible for those who voted to convict Mr. Trump and those who are staying loyal to actually reach common ground to achieve any of their legislative priorities and lend each other the support they need to stay in office?
Well, they've already turned their attention to challenging the Biden administration on several of their policy positions, particularly the cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline by President Biden, also challenging him on several immigration policies and that massive COVID-19 aid package.
So how much of a factor is the former president's acquittal when it comes to Republican support? In other words, would they be rallying behind him if he were to be convicted?
Well, right now, the Republicans that we've spoken with, they're in a split. Some of them are saying that we need to move on and find a new leader. Others are saying, as you heard there from Lindsey Graham, that we need to stick with him. Lindsey Graham is saying that Republicans need to stick with President Trump and try to rein in some of those 75 million people who voted for him, because Graham is saying if Republicans want to win in 2022 and 2024, that they've got to stick with the former president.
Rashad Hudson, thank you very much for your reporting.